Let's talk about the difference between federal court and state court.
Interesting.
Yeah, there is a difference.
So what is the difference?
Well, most of personal injury cases that we kind of manage are typically in state court. They have to between two kind of individuals or a property owner in Florida or a Florida business. But on occasion, you sue a national company like a Walmart, and they like to take cases into federal court because federal judges kind of manage their cases a little more aggressively. There's a whole, system in place to kind of keep cases on track. The deadlines are really strict, whereas in state court, if you're a couple days late on something, in federal court, you're a couple days late, witness gets struck, defenses or claims get struck. And there's kind of a perception that federal court is less friendly to plaintiffs in personal injury cases. So for those reasons, defense attorneys, when they're given the opportunity, like to try to bring up cases into federal court.
I've certainly found that in slip and fall cases, especially when you're talking about suing the big corporations like a Target or a Walmart or places like that, that they definitely like to pull it into federal court. There are a lot more summary judgments in federal court than there are in state court. And what that means is that given all of the facts of your case, that the court has determined that there is no cause of action. Even if everything that you said is true, that the law doesn't provide a remedy. That's a pretty harsh ruling. And we very rarely get it in state court, although I've seen a lot more lately. But for whatever reason, there are many more summary judgments in federal court.
Is there any way to sort of stop a case from going to federal court?
You have to have diversity of citizenship. So what happens sometimes in personal injury cases, you may sue Walmart, but then you sue an individual associated with Walmart, like the manager or something, who has Florida contacts, and therefore you can defeat diversity. Because the way they end up going into federal court is the claim is in excess of $75,000, and there's kind of a foreign actor. So, like Walmart based out of Arkansas and the person injured in Florida, those are, diverse citizenship, and therefore they get pulled in federal court. But if you attach a Florida state entity to it, you can defeat diversity. So that's one way that I do it. Or you could also claim you're not seeking damages in excess of $75,000, but that usually is not preferred.
Right.
Well, then you limit yourself to $75,000. And I will say about the bringing the manager in, while it is effective sometimes, there are other times that is not necessarily successful. I've seen federal court judges who recognize that you're bringing the manager in, not that they actually did something wrong, but for the sole purpose of defeating jurisdiction. And a lot of times the courts will deny that.
Yeah.
Are there any advantages to being in federal court?
Cases are managed better. Like before the pandemic, at least, cases could languish a little while in state court because the judges didn't have a calendar system or push the cases. So, cases could kind of sit there for a while. So cases move more quickly in federal court.
I think if I were going to be in federal court, I wouldn't want to have a personal injury case. And the major reason why is because for voir dire in federal court, which is when you pick a jury, the questions that you ask the jury members, you're really not limited in state court unless the judge has their own limitations, but there's still a lot of limitations. Most federal court judges, you're limited to 5 or 10 questions. And that's very difficult to pick a jury with just those limited amount of questions.
Interesting, very interesting.